Alright guys, just a quick update. I'm doing some work on the inside here. Figured I'd just throw some matting over top of this. When I did the chop, I had to weld in a piece of steel here. You can kind of roughly see it. And then I'll put some kitty hair like filler over it, and then some fine stuff. Smooth it out. It'll look alright. And then next, we're going to start cutting all this stuff in here to fit. I gotta section some of this out here, but it looks like this piece here would have run all the way across and tagged to the windshield. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out this whole piece of angle iron here. You can probably see it better. Take out this whole piece of angle iron here and replace it with one long section. And when it's up in place, it should run all the way over there. And then it gives that roof something to tag onto. And do that on both sides. And then once I cut all this and weld it together, it should be all right. And then up here, kind of where this channel is, I think what I'm going to do, that's really bent out of shape, but this side's a little better. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some arc in a piece of 1-inch square tubing, run it all the way along here, and then put a plate in the corner with kind of like a rounded radius, and then another piece of 1 inch here, and then coming back through the top, I'm just going to put ribs in it just to kind of give it a shape. And then instead of having the leather over top of here, I'm just gonna sheet metal this insert, so you'll be able to pull out that square if you want or whatever. And then all this stuff on the side, like where the leather used to go into, all this tracking here, I'm just gonna weld in a piece of filler all the way. And then I think I'm gonna replace this piece. I think it's too far gone, but it'll just hold the shape until I can get some steel and stuff. But I think this one's usable. It's a little bit I think I'm just gonna cut this, and then once that square tubing section runs across here, I'm just gonna recess it back enough that I could put a piece of plate kind of down on this bar, and then that will give you your front, kind of like the arc on it. And then to cover all this stuff, you build a visor. Kind of comes all the way around. So yeah. And then after we crawl out of my door braces here, got some stuff to deal with on the body. Got some rust on the kind of cowl tank. Some rust down low. This big gaping hole here. Get some sheet metal. I think what I'm gonna do is, because this here, it's kind of like two pieces. So I figure if I pull out all these nails that are in here and separate this piece, I can just kind of come down with a flat piece here. And then I'll just have one kind of weld seam here. And then create a couple little filler pieces down in the bottom. Same with this. There's a couple. Someone just went buck wild with a torch on it. I'm not too sure why, but. And then another filler piece back here. Yeah, you can see him kind of using skateboards to slide the cab around in the shop. But this other side here is just a wee patch down at the bottom to kind of make the corner. And then just a little bit right here. You can kind of see that metal flap. And then there's another hole here. And then this here, probably gonna cut out and fill, because I'm gonna have the tank underneath the frame. And then once I get the cowl bolted in, I'm gonna cut this lip off here, and probably just gonna make like a nice sheet of diamond plate in here, some checker plate in here, just do like this half here, and then this half here, leave this kind of like little recess. I'm pretty sure that might be cut out anyways for the small block Chev I'm putting in there, so we'll see when it gets on the frame. Yeah, so far so good. Starting to do a bit of fillering on the outside too, a little bit here and there. Just covering up the welds that you could see or whatever. A couple dents. Gotta kind of hammer this stuff out too. Pretty good, like softball sized dents in there have to come out. Something there where you can see kind of help smooth out like where the window goes and that. And then, because I'm cheap, I don't want to put glass or anything in here. I think what I'm going to do is expose the steel here. And there's kind of like this little lip that runs all the way along here. I think I'm just going to sheet metal it in, kind of give it like a delivery look. And then I was thinking for this stuff here, because there's a belt line that kind of runs here. When I go to weld this kind of recess that held leather on, I'm just going to get a piece of that square stock and then heat it up with a torch and bend it just so it has that rib, right? And that'll give it a lot of strength over here too. And then back here, what I'll do is I'll take sheet metal and I'll cut a strip and I'll put it in there and I'll just weld it in flush and then filler over this so it's all smooth until I get up to about here probably. And then when I build that top, I'll cut this down and that's where I'll run my square strip. Or I might filler it in, it just depends on how ambitious I am. But yeah, so that's some of the plans that I'm gonna do. It's gonna take a while to work on this inner structure though, getting it all in and where it needs to be, and then yeah, go from there. Once I get it all in and that, I don't know, I might, haven't decided yet. This fillering might be for nothing because I might go and sandblast the cab too. There's already quite a bit of the patina gone, so I might have to just throw some paint on it or something. So we'll see what happens, but all depends on how it turns out in the end. But yeah, I got a lot of work to do. Every single one of these little bolts has to get cut out. They're all rusty. They're never going to come off. So, but yeah, I think if I just put a gentle arc and a piece of square tubing, run it along there, recreate that plate, I think we might be styling with the top here. Yeah. Haven't had very much luck finding any doors yet, other than those ones in the Farm Fresh video. They're at my parents' house. They're in a cattle pasture for God knows how long, and they're all beat up, but if worse comes to worse, that's probably what I'll be using. Just have to hammer them all out. And I don't think this car is going to be too pretty when it's done, but just kind of want something ratty. Something a little bit more drivable than this beast. At least you could go out for, you know, ice cream or whatever you want in it. But yeah. And then too, if I sheet metal in the window, I can get rid of these bent up pieces here that used to hold like the window mechanism and stuff. And then I could start here, bend a 90 so that the edge of it goes on the door jamb, and then just put a flat sheet of steel all the way to here. And then I could just put some, like maybe use 1/4 inch, like some paneling or something, spray some fabric on it, kind of give a nice round curve. And then this stuff here, I can just come across with a flat sheet, make the interior easier to do if I don't have to deal with windows. But yeah, and then all I'll have to do is get a piece of glass, cut for the back here. It shouldn't be too much. And this too, I'm definitely going to cheap out on this because like a window frame, it's like $400 or $500. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of glass cut to the size, and then I'm just going to put U-channel around the glass and then put tabs on the U-channel, and then I could bolt it to there and just not have it open. Because the way the chop worked out, those pins are way up at the top too, so kind of would be not that great to mount those brackets that push it out. So that, and I'm having trouble finding like a U-track to actually put the glass in. If I could build a sturdy enough frame, I could have it hinge out, but yeah, if I'm probably going to end up sectioning like something on an existing window to put in here, so we'll see what I can get my hands on. But trying to do this on the cheap, I'm just using it with stuff that I'm finding. So yeah, it's just going to be a dirty old rod. It's coming though. It's going to take forever, but it's coming. All right, guys. Talk to you later.